Okay, welcome back. 9 and 10 were vocabulary kinds of questions. We're going to switch gears. Number 11 is more about key ideas and details. And they want us to be able to look at some quotes and look at what they're specifically saying, as well as what we can draw from inferences and pick the details that fit. So let's take a look at the question and let's work our way through this. It says select two. So I'm going to, even though they bolded it, I'm still going to highlight it just to remind myself. I'm going to select two details from passage 1 that supports the idea that Bingham's search for Machu Picchu was a collective effort. Ooh, collective sounds kind of important, and so let's talk about that for a minute. Collective is if I have a collection of something. If I have a collection of cards, I have many cards. If I have a collection of seashells, I have many seashells. If it's a collective effort in class, it means it wasn't just me, it was me and some buddies. So what they're asking is select two details that they've given us that support the idea that Bingham's search for Machu Picchu was a collective effort. It wasn't just him, it was many people. So we're just going to go through. They've given us 5, only 2 work. So let's work our way through this and find what we need. So the first one says, for long weeks, he had scoured the sweltering jungles of eastern Peru for clues. Paragraph 1. Well, it's talking about the fact that he scoured the jungles. And so that they've asked us to find a detail that shows a collective effort. And this one talks about it just being him. So this one definitely doesn't work, so let's mask it out. 2, it says it was hard to see them, for they were partly covered with trees and moss and the growth of centuries. This we have to be careful. It's not talking about people. It's talking about the findings of this civilization. It's talking about the landscape and some of the things that were built. So be careful with the they. They're not talking about people here. It's still just talking about him. It was hard to see them, for they were covered. So it's still just talking about him. And so we're not going to fall for the fact that they put a them in there. We know it's just still talking about his search, so we're going to cross this one out. Bingham, his 9-year-old native guide, and his military escort swarmed over the ruins. Okay, now we have Bingham and a guide and an escort. And so now this would be a collective effort. So this one we're going to check would be good. It says Bingham was not the first white man to examine the Inca civilization. So while it mentions that there are other people that might have examined the Inca civilization, we're not going to fall for maybe a little trick they're trying to see if we'll fall for that, because we have Bingham and then not the first white man. They want us to jump to the conclusion of, oh, that's collective. But it's not. That's not collective. It doesn't talk about the fact that they worked together to find this Inca civilization. And so this is not an example of the fact that people worked together. There's no indication here that we can make that inference. So we're going to cross off or mask this one. And even though we know the last one's probably going to fit because we're down to the last one, let's prove it to ourselves. And it says, the present expedition had been funded by his former classmates who wanted to solve a 400-year-old mystery. And so his classmates, along with Bingham, funding this search. Now you're talking that's a collective effort. So there's specific evidence that this one is the other choice that we need. So you should have picked the one, it should have been the third one and the fifth one. So if you would stop for a moment and double check your answers and answer the question I have for you, I will meet you back here to work on question number 12. Thanks.